What's up, little man? I thought I would leave you a video for your 18th birthday because I thought about writing you a letter, and that just felt a little bit boring for me. I felt that, first of all, if I wrote you a handwritten letter, there's a chance over time that you might lose it or it might get ruined or something like that. And writing a letter on Google Docs or something just felt, I don't know, kind of boring and superficial. And since I think that videos and YouTube is your favorite way of communicating and consuming content, I figured that this was the best way to do it. So, yeah, I had to give a lot of thought to what to put into this video and what not to put in, because otherwise it could get really long and really boring, and I didn't want that anyway. So I think I'll start the video by sharing some of the moments and things that I'm most proud of when I think about your 18 years on this planet and what you've done and what you've achieved. And these are in no particular order. It's just things that come to mind and things that, memories that came up as I looked through all the photos that I have of you over the years. So one memory that comes to mind was you're becoming a chess master in Chile. That was certainly nothing that I ever expected, but I remember teaching you how to play your first game of chess and you losing the first couple of games and getting really upset about that. But I think the thing that was most striking about that whole episode was your desire to teach yourself chess by learning all the opening and closing moves on YouTube videos, and then getting your chess.com subscription, and then not only beating me in chess, which turned out to be easy, but then deciding to compete in chess in a foreign country, in a foreign language, and taking lessons with Leo. I remember how Leo would come to our house and teach you chess moves. I remember how we went to these tournaments and you would play in Spanish. I remember you winning chess tournaments and how proud you were of that. I was very proud of you. But I think the important thing about chess was that from a very young age, one of the things I learned about you was your intense drive to win and your curiosity at teaching yourself how to win, whether that was in chess or in anything else like basketball or sports in general, or now trading, right? I think that's one of the things that I've always been impressed by you is your curiosity and how you will go out and teach yourself new things without any help, kind of just using YouTube videos and books and blogs and other things. The other thing I remember is in 2019, I think it was, when Granny came to visit us, and you getting very upset with Peanut and with Mom because you didn't feel that it was right that Peanut should leave and not spend more time with Granny. And the reason I remember that was because it's a testament to the big heart that you have, that you don't always kind of like show that publicly. And I think sometimes you maybe are afraid of having people think that that's a weakness, but in reality, it's a strength, right? The fact that you care for people close to you, whether it's your mom or Granny or your sister, and wanting to protect those people, that's a good thing. And I think, it's something that you should always cherish and always continue to manifest. A third thing that I admire about you, and I think it says a lot about you as a person, is your ability to think strategically. And nothing exemplifies that more than the epic Civ 6 game between Norway and the USA, where you had this remarkable comeback playing a much weaker Civ than mine, and almost winning the game, right, despite all the odds that were against you. And I think that was one of the funnest things you and I ever did together. That was definitely the best Civ game that we ever played together. But I think your ability to kind of play this weaker Civ and really exploit all of their advantages and have a really, really competitive game, I think that says a lot about you as a person. Not only the fact that you're very competitive, but your ability to think strategically, whether that's in Civ or, when we played Magic the Gathering, when you played Star Wars Galaxies, you're always thinking 3 or 4 or 5 moves ahead. You're always thinking about how to exploit situations or the advantages that you might have on your side, whether it's, Civ or Star Wars or NBA 2K, or basketball or anything else. I think one of the things I admire about you is your ability to pause and think strategically through all the options and really plan out your path to victory. I think that was best shown in that big game that we had in Civ 6. Another memory or another thing that I think is worth sharing and, important is really, around basketball, right? And I remember how you started, you got into playing basketball when you were, I think, 5 or 6, right? Back in California in the house. And I remember talking to your mom and that we really wanted you to get out of the house more. And your mom was really upset because I'd gotten you into playing Xbox, which is something that she hated. And I think still hates to this day. She must be very thankful you don't play anymore. And I remember, buying that hoop and you and I playing in the backyard. And then I accidentally, landed on your leg. And I remember that you got really hurt by that. And then you started playing competitively, right? You started playing, competitively in these leagues, and you and I started playing competitively one-on-one basketball in the schoolyard next to the house. And if you remember, we would ride our bikes down to the schoolyard, and we would play one-on-one. And then I would get like really frustrated and annoyed because you started beating me, even though you were like 7 or 8 years old, and you were draining threes on me from beyond the arc. And to me, I think it wasn't so much about those games, which we played, which I think were a lot of fun and we really enjoyed. But it was about your desire to always push yourself to be better and to train and to practice and to work hard and to compete, right? And I was never as competitive as you were, and I was never willing to work as hard as you were in sports, right? But I think that start, back in Redwood City is obviously you did something for 10 years. And I think I have a lot of good memories of watching you play, competitive sports, whether that was, in these leagues in California, and later watching you play for Nido or for Israel or for La U. Your ability to push yourself and to compete and to help your teammates and to always strive to be better was something that, I admired, regardless of whether you decided to stop or not. That's a separate question. And I think the last thing one of the last things, to share with you as well, which, I wanted to give you a lot of credit for is, your decision to leave Nido and to leave Chile to move to the US. I think that took a tremendous amount of courage. Took a tremendous amount of balls. It was hard, leaving the country where you'd spent 6 years, leaving your mom, leaving your sister, changing schools, changing countries, changing cities. And I know that there probably were moments this last 6 months where you probably second guessed that decision. I can imagine that there must have been moments where you thought, Jesus, what have I done? Was this the right decision? And am I happy here? And the first 3 or 4 months were really, really hard. But I admire you for that, because I think it speaks volumes to your maturity, your willingness to push yourself out of your comfort zone, to take risk, to succeed, to step outside of what you knew and try something really hard. And, now 6 months later, you're making it work, right? You got your first job, and I'm very proud of you for that. I think, getting your first job and making your own money now, and getting all that positive feedback at the one, I think that's a testament to how hard you work. But man, that's something that few kids at your age would have had the balls to do, leave their country and their mom and everything that they know to head to the unknown and try and push yourself to be better, right? So all those things are things I'm really, really proud of you for. And I want to give credit to you because I know that sometimes, I don't give enough credit and we haven't actually had the time to sit down and really talk about it. And this video is getting a little bit long. But, some other memories and things that come to mind that I will always cherish. First, I think the trip to Puerto Varas, the volcano of Osorno, going fishing with you and your sister. I don't know if you remember that, but we went fishing that one day and we didn't catch shit. And that was really frustrating. We were on the boat for like 2 hours. We didn't catch anything, but it was a beautiful day and we had a nice time. I think, obviously the memories of watching you play chess and win and compete, those are things I will always cherish, even if you decided to stop. It's not the point. I think the point is how far you got and that you self-taught yourself how to play that game. Same with basketball. Some of my favorite memories were, watching you play for La U, watching you play for Israel. I don't remember the first club that you played for, but I remember that the coach was terrible and you guys really struggled, but you stuck with it until you found a better team, and then you continued to develop your game. I think another memory that will always stick with me for a long time will be, that 5-on-5 game that we played at Nido with Pritchard. Right. And how you drained that 3 right over my head at the end of the game to win the game. Right. And you didn't think that I would be up for playing. But that's a memory that will always stick with me as well. Another memory that, I think is worth remembering is, you and your sister in April of this year coming up to Naples to spend, time with your Fafa for his 80th birthday. I think that was a really special moment for him. It was a really special moment for me, you giving him his birthday presents. I think he will always cherish that. And I know it was a very long trip for both of you. This memory goes much, much, much farther back. And I don't know if you remember it, but when you were, I think 6 or 7, and that was in Redwood City, and I took you down to the church near our house to teach you how to ride your first bike. And I remember that you had this helmet with all these spikes on it. And I still have a video of you riding your bike around the parking lot. And I remember how proud I was at how quickly you learned to ride your bike. And you were like, fearless, and you barely even fell. And then we would ride our bikes to the basketball park where we would play basketball one-on-one and you would kick my ass. So I always remember on that. And I think the last memory I'll share with you, that obviously, that was a very, very long time ago. And the only reason I remember is because your mom and I took so many pictures, was when we were in Hawaii with your sister, and she was maybe 1 year old, and she had this little flowery dress with this blue hat. I don't remember if you remember it. And she was kind of like on top of you when you were taking a nap, and she was trying to wake you, and she was like wobbling backwards and forwards, and we were all laughing, kind of like watching her. And then you would play with her under this little tent thing that we had for you guys. So anyway, those are, some really nice memories. I think I can't possibly finish off this video for your 18th birthday without obviously sharing some advice, for better, for worse, your dad's a coach besides being your dad. So you always have to live with that. But as I think of your future and the hopes that I have for you, I'll give you 10 quick pieces of advice, and I'll try and make it quick because I know that this video is getting long. I think the first piece of advice is always to stay curious. Always stay curious, always ask yourself questions, because when you stay curious and you ask yourself questions, that's how you learn new things and that's how you get better. And curiosity is vastly understated. People get too set in their ways and they lose the wonder of curiosity, which is what makes us kids. And when you lose that wonder, life isn't as rich as it could be. So stay curious. My second piece of advice would be ask for help. I think you do a good job of doing that, with your communities that you're part of, your trading community, the people that you've met also when you were trying to sell clothes, And in basketball, I think, getting help from Pritchard and from other players and other coaches. But sometimes you might be a bit stubborn with your mom or with me. I think it comes from a good place. But the only way that we get better and the only way that we can achieve things is when we ask for help from others. And, when we ask for help, not only do we solve our own problems, but we make other people feel good about helping us. So never forget to ask for help, and never be so prideful as to not ask for help. Third thing I would say is stay humble. One of the things I most admire about people like, Steph Curry or Giannis or KD or some of the most successful in business is their ability to stay humble even when they're very successful. And it's easy to let things go to your head, but people who become arrogant or cocky or overly self-confident, you quickly build enemies doing that. And it's not necessarily endearing. So try and remember to stay humble no matter how successful you are. Fourth, appreciate your wins, right? We both know that you're a hyperachiever, and that's a good thing and a bad thing. It's a good thing because it's going to help you be your best and continue to always work hard, which you do. But it's also important to slow down and celebrate what you achieve, right? So when you get to that magical number, whatever it is for next year, make sure to take some time and celebrate that. Fifth, surround yourself with people that you can learn from. Spending time and hanging out with people that are mediocre or not smart or not as talented. Sometimes it may be gratifying because they may admire you or they may praise you. But if you spend time with people that are mediocre and not talented, you're never going to grow as much as you can, right? So the more you spend time with people who are really good at what they do, especially if it's something that you want to be good at, the faster you'll grow, right? 6, never forget to treat people the way you would like them to treat you, right? We all want to be treated with respect. We all want to get feedback. We all want to be admired. When we yell at people or when we pick on people or when we give them feedback that's harsh, always remember what it's like if you're the person getting that harsh feedback, if you're the person, getting picked on, to the extent that you're able to treat people the way you treat others, you'll get people to help you, you'll get people to admire you, you'll get people to be your friend. That's not always easy. 7, I understand your willingness and your desire to make money and be rich and be wealthy. I think that's understandable at your age, but never forget that money is just a tool, right? It's something that you use to get something else. It shouldn't necessarily be an end to itself. And serving a purpose like helping your mom retire early or buying her a house, that's the right way to think about it. Right? Having money just in and of itself, that doesn't really help anybody. And I don't think it's something that'll bring you satisfaction. I think what you'll find satisfaction from is using money to help others or using money to have an impact. 8th, never forget the importance of family. Your mom, your sister, and I, and Willie, we're your family. We'll always be there for you. We'll always take care of you. You can always find comfort in seeking our help if you want it. Family is the only people at the end of the day that are true to you and will never value you because you have more or less money or more and less success or more and less power, right? We're there because we love you, because you're with us, you're part of our lives. And so never forget the importance of that. 9th, pursue your purpose. Try and find something that you're not only passionate about it, but you're really good at doing, the world needs, and that you can get paid for doing, right? Most people will focus just on money, or they'll focus on their passion, right? Focusing on your passion is great, but it doesn't pay the rent. Focusing on money, well, I think, most people who do that, even if they're successful, find that it's a little bit shallow, right? But when you can find something that is a combination of what you're passionate about, what you're good at, what the world needs, and something you can get paid for doing, then you're ahead of 99% of the world's population. And last but not least, never forget that there's no such thing as failure. There's only learning. I know I've said that a million times, but if you're able to look at life from the perspective of learning instead of failure, you'll always be able to overcome whatever the world throws at you. and learn from it and move on. So that's it, little man. My hope for you is find friendship. You find something that gives you purpose. You find love and a nice girl at some point. Stay true to yourself and stay true to your values. You're a remarkable person. You have abilities and values which most kids your age do not have, and that places you so far ahead of most other people your age. You have all the potential to succeed beyond your wildest dreams. I have no doubt about that. I think the important thing is to find that balance, right, between working hard, having friends, staying healthy, finding someone that you love, staying true to family, and staying true to your values. I'm proud of you. I love you. I'm amazed at what you've achieved so far and excited to see where you'll go. And regardless of how big and successful you are, you will always be my little man. So never forget that. I will always be there for you. So happy birthday. God bless. And here's to many more birthdays. So this is your old man signing off. I know this video is ridiculously long, but you only turn 18 once. So all the best, little man. Love you. See ya.